wanted to go over a little bit of the tool panel in Premiere Pro. I've chosen the footage we've been doing in class with just the four basic shots from the Running Man that we've been working on. And I think it's really quite simple to work just on these four clips to show you these tools. I'm not going to show you all of them. I'm going to show you most of them today. I'll probably do another tutorial on the pen, hand, and type tool. But I'm going to do the selection tool, the tracking tool, the ripple edit tool, and the rolling edit tool, and the rate stretch tool, the razor tool, and the slip and slide tool. Okay, so I think I've mentioned before, you'll probably be using the selection and the razor tool the most, at least in this class for now. And the selection tool basically allows me to move clips around, right? I can just left click on this one, kind of highlights it. I can drag it to the left, I can drag it to the right and left, move it. I can go into another track, I can put it on top of another track. Yes. Just to kind of repeat myself, if I press Control and the letter Z on the keyboard, it allows me to go back to where I was at. So I'm going to press that right now, Control plus Z, and see it's moving exactly where I went to, and it finally puts it back to where it was. Right? The selection tool has this other item I wanted to show you today. So when I dragged it in, I showed you this last week. We get those arrows when it butts up right against the other clip. Or if I have big blue cursor there, if I go up against it with my clip, well, it's not doing it now, but it usually snap. Oh, there it is. You see at the top of the big blue and the bottom, I get those arrows. It does the same thing when I go to another clip. You see I get those arrows at the bottom and the top on the audio file down below it. That's called snapping it in. If I look over here, right here's my sequence. Just to the right of that looks like a horseshoe. That's the snap in option. If I click that off and I drag over here, you'll see that it doesn't snap. It doesn't show me when I'm exactly hitting the end of that next clip. And the only time I would really want that off is if I was doing a real fine edit where I'm just trying to shave off 1 or 2 frames, right, with my razor tool. If I was going to do a direct cut, sometimes I need to turn that off. But other than that, you should have your snap on all the time, so I can just snap it in there and see those nice arrows. Okay. The selection tool will also allow me to grab more than one of these clips, so I can, using my selection tool, shortcut letter V on your keyboard, I can just left click, like say in this area, and drag a rectangle around these 2 clips, and then it allows me to move just those 2. I'm going to press Control Z or Command Z on the Mac and snap them back in there. So I can actually select all 3 of these. I can select all 4 of these. I could hold down my Shift key and grab everything in the whole timeline. Alright, so let's move to the next tool. The next tool is called the Track Select tool, and it looks like this little arrow. If I hold it down, it has an arrow pointing to the right and an arrow pointing to the left. I'm going to choose the one that's pointing to the right, and you see when I come down into the timeline, it has those 2 arrows. and it's gonna allow me to just left click and I can drag everything that's to the right of the arrows, right? If I come back over here and hold it down, left click and hold it down, you can go to the other arrow, the arrow will change. So everything to the left, like if I went back here, I would move everything that's in front of those arrows to the left. So if I just clicked here, it would move this one, but it wouldn't move those. Okay? I'm hitting Control Z, put that back. I'm going to show you, I'm going to go to the right this time, and I'll move these. It won't move this one. All right? So if I wanted to insert something in between here, I could. Next, I want to go to the Ripple Edit tool. That is keyboard shortcut B on the keyboard. And basically it slides the in and out point on the source, right? So let's say I went here. Sorry. And I grabbed that Ripple Edit tool and I just went to the edge of this clip here and I dragged it to the right. You'll see that it moves that last one, right, to where he is in the frame. He wasn't in that frame. Now he's in the frame. So I just moved that tool up from the source, right? It just, that clip that I had select, it moved that source up a little bit. So that edit came in there. I can do it again. I can move it even more. Move this to where it's there, but it adjusts itself so it's butting up against that last frame. And you'll see I moved him up even more. I don't want to do that, but that's what that tool allows you to do. I'm going to keep it the exact same, so I have him coming at the just out of my frame, and he comes in. Okay. If I go back over to this tool again and I just left click and hold it down, I'm going to get the rolling edit tool, and that tool is fantastic. I really like this tool. I can just take this, let's go here from this cut here to there, or no, better yet, let's go to this first one where he's grabbing the gun. And let's say I wanted to adjust this a little bit, right? Ooh, I don't like that cut right now. Hold on a second. Let me cut that, recut that. I want to get rid of that. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Hold on. I think last time I worked on this, I must have been goofing around a little bit. Let's see. Yeah. So let's say I wanted to grab, I'm going to grab that rolling edit tool. It allows me to go right in between those two cuts. And I can move where he's grabbing the gun there. In this second clip and drag it, right? So I can drag it to the left and it'll stretch it out. And you'll see that it also moves the other clip, right? So the other clip that's right before it adjusts with it. So watch now. So we have him a little bit farther back on this first thing, clip, and then we have him a little bit more forward on the second one. So it actually works. If I drag him back to where he was at, I get this, right? Let me show you that again. I'll even go back even farther. So this time I'll drag this one all the way up to here. And let's look at that. So it went back. It cuts where he's still way over here. So when I get to this next frame, he's not even in the frame now, which is perfect, right? He's where he should be according to that first frame. I am going to move it back a little bit, not all the way, just to show you exactly again. So this time he's here, and the next clip adjusted itself to there. It's really once you get more involved with Premiere, it's really a handy tool to have. Because let's say I had some music going to this. Maybe I just wanted my cuts to be on the beat every single time, and the music has a big beat or a cut just right then. I can drag this to match up on my audio with that beat, right? So far I have a nice rhythm timing going on the beat of my music, and I have one little section that's off. Well, I can drag that using that ripple edit tool, B, on your keyboard. Okay? I'm going to press Control Z to get back where I was at in the beginning. I think that's right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Holding that down, I'm going to the rate stretch tool. And all that does is change the timing of this. So if I go to the end of this, right, it ends like this, right? I can just left click and drag that. I'm sorry, I'm going to right click and drag that to right here. I'm going to drag it to the right. And of course it's not doing it now. Try that again. There we go. I had to grab the end. I'm sorry. So instead of me doing this, I can right click on my footage and go to timing, the speed duration. And I can change the frame rate of how fast or slow I want my footage to be. But this tool allows me to just do that by stretching it. I'm grabbing the end and I dragged it to the left. If I went and grabbed the end and dragged it the other way and made it slow, you'll see my footage gets much slower now. So I'm just affecting the rate. I'm sorry, my computer was glitching a little bit during that tutorial. And I want to go back. And if I go very much to the left, let's say like that, it's going to be super fast. Watch. Okay. I'm going to press Control Z to get it back to where it was at in the origin. I think that's it. Yeah. All right. So far I had the selection tool, the track moving forward tool, so it allows me to move my tracks forward or backwards in my timeline. I had the ripple edit tool, rolling edit, and the rate stretch tool. The razor tool just allows me to cut. I think I showed you that before. I can place a cut anywhere in my sequence, and I can grab my selection tool, letter V, drag this out so I have that. Snap it back. If I want to get rid of the cut, I can just press Control Z again and go back to where before I made that cut. Let's go to the slip tool. It is keyboard shortcut Y. And the slip tools, it just allows me to move something to the right. So let's say I wanted to move him a little bit forward. You see, all of a sudden, I went back in time a little bit, and it doesn't affect the clip so much as it's affecting the source. It's actually timing itself back up with the source monitor and giving me some more footage, right? So you notice that the cut went back, right? So it's slipping back in time a little bit on that source monitor to where the edit comes in a little bit sooner. You can hear me talking versus what it was this. So I can slip this back. And you see if I hold it down and drag, it shows me in my program monitor where I'm at, right? It's going back almost double there. And you'll see if I play it now, it went back. I can go the other way and get it back to where I was at. And when I go completely the other direction with that, I'm dragging the other to the left, it almost ends on that clip. So that's the slip tool. I'm going to go back to my move tool for a second, drag my cursor back, and I'm going to go to the slide tool. And the slide tool, all it does is it allows me to slide the footage in between two clips and the other clips and it'll get shorter and longer, right? So if I grab this, I'm going to left click, go to the slide tool. It is shortcut U on my keyboard. It allows me to, let's say I went in between here, where I have this cut to that cut. And I went in between there. And I pulled this one a little bit to the left. Now you'll see that this one cuts before he goes out of the frame and comes in there. It'll allow me to go the other direction as well. And it does nothing to the frame that comes next after it as well. I know these might be kind of confusing since we're just getting started at this point, but these tools are there. As you get more progressed, you might want to come back to these tools. So this cut stayed exactly the same. Does that make sense? This one got shorter. I slid it. Another example would be for me to go here, in between this one, and drag this. Alright, I'm going to press Command Z or Control Z and get everything back to the way it was. So those are some of your tools. A quick overview of them. I'll probably come back to that in this class and address these as we can use them. I suggest you play around with them, get used to them a little bit, especially the one I really think that goes unnoticed a lot with editors is this rolling edit tool. I really like that idea that I can change this edit, say from here to here. Let's say I wanted to drag this. Let me show you that one more time. What if I wanted to drag this one the opposite direction? And you'll see that that one becomes a little bit longer, and it adjusts the one right next to it. Again, I think it's an important tool that goes overlooked. For the most part, you're going to be using the selection tool, shortcut keyboard V, and the razor tool, keyboard shortcut C. You think that would be R, right? But it's not. All right. Thank you so much.